Welcome. This podcast is a series of candid conversations exploring the human experience from a completely new perspective. In it, we will be diving deeply into the meaning of commonly used words and pointing you away from that old stressful way of looking at life and towards a new paradigm. This will help you find a sense of calm, cultivate meaningful relationships, and create harmony in every aspect of your life. Here is Navigating Life with Ease with Michaela, Ellis and Clare, Downham. Hello.
Hey Claire, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
I have a word for you. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Mind.
So I kind of think that's a word that in what we talk about can create some confusion. Because like, when as I grew up and prior to this understanding, well, I would have called my mind the thing that appears to be contained in this space between my ears. The stuff that I think, really, in the main. And now, well, I still talk about what the mind does, as in what it kind of thinks and what it creates. But I guess what I also see, there's something, I guess that would be the personal mind, and then there's something more universal in the sense of there being something, I guess, that some people might call God or universe, or I quite like the sense of it being the energy of nature or the energy of life. There's something doing things or something causing things to happen that's got not a jot to do with you and I or anybody else, really. So I love this time of year. We're both in the Northern Hemisphere, and this time of year when, the leaves just are falling from the trees, but all at different points, like just before I would have been away for a bit to a place where autumn wasn't quite happening in the same way because it was still warm. But seeing how, when I came back, some trees, it just in that week, some trees, leaves have gone. They're on the ground, the tree's completely bare. Other trees are still turning. Some trees are not going to turn at all because they're evergreen, you call them, don't you? Evergreen. They're evergreen, so they're going to stay green all year. And how does each tree know what their thing to do is as it gets colder? And it's different and the shades, all the different shades of the autumn colours. Nobody's like, there's not somebody going painting them all. It's just happening. It's just happening. And that's just so magical to see how there's something working, some energy, some force. And it's also working within us, or it's what we're part of. Heart beating, lungs breathing, food being digested, cuts healing without us needing to do anything. And seeing how that kind of shows up in the most interesting places. So I have been away to a foreign country where I bumped into a lady who I knew from home, who wasn't at the event I was at. So her and I had been having a little chat about me doing a presentation in her group. She's got a group on Facebook. And I hadn't spoken to her prior to that for quite a while. So like maybe 3 weeks before I travelled, we'd been chatting and arranging dates and all that kind of thing. It'd be really great. Then I get in the lift one morning in the hotel and there she is. And I'm just like, what the heck? Just both like, why are you here? Why are you here? Why are you here? Like, what's going on there where somebody just seems to come back in, almost like an energy seems to pull them back into your life, and then suddenly they're like here on Facebook having a chat, and then they're suddenly materializing in a foreign country and they're from my hometown. it just like, yeah, really like love to see little synchronicities like that. So for me, that there is these two different things. There's this me, personal mind, my conditioning, my thinking, my yada 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 in my head, and then there's this other thing that is just mind blowing in terms of what it creates, really. And nature's a beautiful place to see it. I think it's probably part of the reason why we as humans like to be in nature, I think, is because we are connected. We feel more connected perhaps to that when we're there. So how about you? What's your mind saying about mind?
Mm. Yeah. Well, there was something curious. So probably about more than a month ago, where I heard something that, Sydney Banks, the Scottish mystic that we speak about in this group in relation to the principles of mind, consciousness, and thought. And it was something that someone said, quoted him in a book, and it was about the mind. And it was about, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was about, and we talk about one mind. We talk about it in not just the three principles, but in any spiritual teachings, at least that I've studied or been privy to over my years, is all pointing to the one mind, the one energy, the one life force that we all are animated by, that we are all an expression of. Anyways, this quote was something about, one mind and two perspectives of the same mind. Because sometimes we can talk about our personal mind, and I'm going to use the words personal mind and the universal mind, or the one mind, right? Uni, it's the one that we share. And then we have this personal perspective that you already mentioned, our conditioning, a collection of our experiences, our memories of our experiences, and then how we use that to anticipate, or, I kind of look at it, how it comes up in my mind is like, we take all these past experiences and we ball them up and throw them up in the air, and then see what we can, like, just grab one and then throw that into the future. And it's like, yeah, that's what's going to happen because of all this. This is what we expect, anticipate, often scare ourselves with, and sometimes not. What really fascinated me about mind is that how necessary and important both aspects are, and that there's one that I prefer, the universal mind. I prefer to have it lead the way. I didn't know this, but what I've noticed is that when I allow my personal mind to lead the way, I'm freaking scared all the time. I'm, like, when I rely on that, I'm in a scary, nervous, anxious kind of feeling. And it's like, that's when I'm just so, what we might call, in our head, and relying on the things that we know, because there's this sense of our personal mind, that that's its job, to keep our bodies safe so we can live on. So it feels more comfortable with the things that it knows, even though it's causing an icky feeling, and often an icky experience, of course, in life. And that's where this icky feeling is coming from. So I've come to see over the last few years, since coming to this very simple understanding of how life works, how we work, how we think, and we feel that thinking, and how our experience is only coming from within us. It's never about all of those things outside of us. I'm really coming to see more and more consciously, because I'll say things changed right away when I first became aware of it, even though I didn't know, like, what the heck just happened? Why are things feeling better when I haven't really done anything? I didn't get it. I didn't really, like, what's happening? I didn't know what was happening with this whole mind thing because I didn't do anything. I'm just listening to someone and something is resonating. I'm hearing something on a deeper level that I'm not really kind of getting. So as I get it more and more, and you've seen me struggle over the last couple of years since we've known each other, of just really getting caught in what goes on in the mind and really thinking that what's coming out of here is it's important and it's driving, and it's like more and more that there's just little bits that are falling away. And when I really like settle back and allow this universal energy to lead the way, it's just like it just provides for a so much more wonderful way to be in the world, like settled and calm and easy and more fun and not scary. Like it might be like, ooh, where's this going to go? But the more I sort of test it, the more I sort of see that, oh, wow, I can trust this. And sometimes it takes, like, I'll write it down in a journal, like, right, this happened. It's like I'm taming the personal mind. Like, you see how this worked? Like, shh, it's okay. Quiet. It's okay. It's like gathering evidence almost that sort of allows it just to be a little bit quieter, because man, that personal mind is noisy. It's noisy, man. And this other, it's just like it's always there. So yeah, over this, my daughter and I spent 9 hours this past weekend purging my office space. And there's a little more to go, but I can't tell you how what goes on in our mind. We project out here and we think it's all about that. And it's like, no, when we can allow this to lead the way, and it said, get this stuff out of here, get rid of this. And it was, I can't tell you how that simple decluttering, it didn't happen out in my office first. It happened in here. And it was just like driving me, inspiring me. And on we went more and more and more. So it's like fascinating. And I still don't, I feel like there's more to explore with mind, or not, or just like, okay, let's just play, like just lead the way. Yeah. I mean, that was way more that came out. I didn't know that where that was going to go, but
It feels like it's a dance, don't you think, between, like, it's all one. That there is no personal mind and universal mind anyway. But in terms of, I guess, where our focus is, yeah, are we focusing on this noisy space which tends to bring us to a place of fear and resistance, and overwhelm for me tends to come in there, like sometimes feeling like there's a lot to do, and then there's a heaviness here that feels like I can't move forward, or that I then need to do something else. That's not the thing that I'm being really drawn to from my heart. But there's just a continual dance, and we kind of need, we have that inspiration, that nice feeling that brings, a new idea comes or an inspiration to do something. And we kind of then need the intellect, we need the personal mind, because that tells me that moving this mouse makes the mouse move on the screen. I don't I don't think universal mind really knows that. But my intellect does. And then, so I've got an inspired idea to create something, and then I need to look at the practicalities of that. So I might then draw on personal mind to help me know where to look for the solution to that, or where to go to create a landing page, let's say, or something if it was something businessy, or where to look for a recipe to eat more healthily, or if that was the inspiration. So there's this dance between the two, and that dance can keep us in a nice feeling, and I think we would call that flow, wouldn't we? Where there's an inspired idea, and then I'm following the intellect to help me bring that into the world of form, because at the moment it's just ether, it's just kind of in my headspace kind of thing. But then there's the opposite of how the intellect, or the personal mind, comes in and says, well, no, no, just you're not doing that, because it's far too scary and people are going to think you're a lunatic and it won't work anyway, because look at all the things I've worked before and you're a bit rubbish, so why would you dare, and who do you think you are, and blah, blah, blah. And then that kind of heavy feeling. And I've heard a lot of people talk in the last few weeks about just following that nice feeling, and that coming from this universal mind, and then watching out for the fact that the thinking, the personal mind will come in and try and stop you, really. And how that feels like you said, it feels fearful, it feels, for me, often, it doesn't arise within me as fear, it just arises within me as procrastination, really. Like,
Mm.
I don't ever feel anxious, really, I would say, but I feel heavy, stuck, like energy feels low, that then there's, oh, what could I be doing on my list that's a bit silly and not really any point to it, or not doing anything on my list and not opening it at all, sitting in next to me completely closed, and it's the end of the day. I've had a busy day with appointments, but I haven't looked at my list because I've just faffed around doing other, like, it sometimes for me, that personal mind will distract away from where my heart's going by something else looking more interesting than following that
Yeah.
kind of call from the universe, as it were, to do something. Don't really matter what it is. So I think that there's just a dance between almost like the two types of personal thinking, and then the two types of personal mind and universal mind. There's this dance between and amongst, and we can't be without our thinking, because that's where that's what drives it forward, isn't it? On a practical level, we kind of need that to
Yeah.
function.
Yeah. Two aspects of the same mind. How Sydney put it, something like that. The
I feel
best
like
ex- oh,
three,
go
though.
ahead.
I feel like there's three. There's almost like three, because there's universal mind, and then there's sometimes personal mind, which supports the movement forward of this idea from universal mind, and then sometimes personal mind goes, nope. You see what I mean? Like, it's almost like there's two sides of that personal. Well, there's probably multiple facets of the personal mind, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. The greatest example that I have heard about this two aspects of one mind was, it was two people who I've heard their shared experience of having a stroke and having the left brain affected. And that was like the personal mind sort of aspect, like how you do things, how you can dial a phone, how you take a step, how you form words, and their comments, and one is in the 3 principles community, was like, don't tell me that we don't need that very, we might call it the logical brain, or the what, we have all kinds of words for it. But it was just like, that was impactful to me to hear of how, and I saw this when you were talking about a dance. And it's like, yeah, I see it as this support, like maybe a, not necessarily even a smaller part, but actually in my mind, I do see it as a smaller part, even though it holds how we eat and how we walk and how we talk. So we don't have to learn that every day when we get up in the morning, because it just lets us carry on. But it's like it's a support to allow the universal, this creative, expansive, infinite energy of unknown, but so many possibilities. It's like a support for that, as long as it can, as we can. It's like trust. I kind of see that it comes down to like trusting that, and our trust in that universal mind allows this support system of our personal mind to do its job, instead of like keep getting in the way. The more I trust, I find, typically, not always, because it'll still knock me off and hold me back, the more like I can allow this to just quiet this personal mind thing.
Mm. And that's just a direction to keep on looking in, isn't it? Really?
For sure.
Probably forever. But it's fun. It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Yeah. Thank you.
I hope everyone out there has found that helpful too.
Yes.
Thank you. See you next time.
You betcha.
Bye.
Yeah. Hey, thank you for being a part of Navigating Life with Ease. We'd love to hear your feedback and receive a review on your favorite podcast platform. This will help others who'd also like more ease in their life to find us. We're here to support you, so if you've any words you'd like us to explore, or you've a question, please reach out to us at navigatinglifewithease@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more episodes of Navigating Life with Ease.